Tonight's breaking news, Liz Cheney endorsing Kamala Harris does not stand alone. We also learned today that she and 3 former Trump White House insiders will be campaigning for her in Pennsylvania next week. One of those women, Cassidy Hutchinson, her memoir, Enough, is now out in paperback. And she joins me now. Thanks so much for being here. Why did you make the decision to endorse Vice President Harris?
The decision to endorse Vice President Harris was honestly a very simple decision for me, especially after speaking out against Donald Trump and the dangers that he poses to our democracy. I had also planned to support President Biden if he were to run for re-election, and I give him a lot of credit for passing the torch on to the next generation of leadership. In Vice President Harris, I don't personally see eye to eye with her on a lot of policy.
There's a lot of issues you disagree with her on.
Correct.
Yeah. Just like Liz Cheney was saying today.
Which is healthy in our country. That is what our country is founded upon. We are, in theory, we have 2 strong political parties. That's not what we're facing right now. And the quality of her character is what I'm voting for. We might not see eye to eye on many policy issues, but I trust her to hold people accountable. I trust her to uphold our rule of law. And I trust her as a figure that I would be proud of my children looked at as a person to want to emulate. Same thing with Tim Walz, and they're both from working class backgrounds, the people that Donald Trump claims to represent, but he has really in turn for the last 10 years exploited and manipulated to become his base of supporters. And it's not their fault that he's lying to them and continuing to propagate these conspiracy theories.
It's interesting to hear, Harris today saying, we want to get back to 2 responsible political parties with disagreements, understandably arguing over what's the best course, which is, it's strange to hear a person from one party saying, we want an opposite party that is responsible to disagree with us and fight us, but just not the current person who is running that party. The Republican Party today, the Donald Trump's party, do you recognize it as the party? Did you grow up in a Republican family? Did you grow up? Did you always view yourself as a Republican? Does it look like the Republican Party you remember at all?
I grew up in a very apolitical family. I was the first person in my family to graduate college, but at that point, I had identified as a Republican. The first Republican that I had felt really that I could relate to was Mitt Romney. That was the first presidential election that I felt invigorated by and what drew me into politics. The Republican Party today is, in my view, completely unrecognizable from what it was 10, 12 years ago. It's been completely warped and tarnished in Donald Trump's image. And he has essentially elected a body of enablers in both the House and the Senate to do his bidding. So as important as it is for us to focus on ensuring that he does not ever get near the Oval Office again in this next presidential election, we also have to focus on Congress, because if there is a chance that he wins, we need to make sure that there are not Republicans in Congress who are there to actually enact his agenda, which we don't know exactly what it will be, but it's increasingly more dangerous.
It is stunning to me, just the sheer number of people who worked in the Trump White House, in the cabinet, former chief of staff, generals who, are publicly saying like this, he is not qualified to be president of the United States.
It's stunning. And I'm not aware of there ever being a period like this in American history. What I say to those people is I'm very grateful that many of them have spoken out. The reason that I personally continue to speak out is because I view it as a moral obligation to myself, because I worked for him. I was very loyal to him. I really believed that he represented the American people, and I was proud to work for him until January 6th, and as this period has passed where I've gained a lot of clarity and I see things now of his character that I had very easily overlooked. And I don't say that with any pride. I'm very ashamed of that in a lot of ways. But when I look at all of that, I see it as my responsibility to continue speaking out, to educate the American people, because they need the information of who they are voting for. So whether people worked for Donald Trump, were friends with Donald Trump, had done business with Donald Trump, it's our responsibility to keep a megaphone to this, because, especially through Election Day, because this can't be lost.
Cassidy Hutchinson, thank you so much. Really nice to talk to you.
Thank you for having
Appreciate
me,
it.
Anderson.
Let's talk to a Republican that we have with us who worked for Donald Trump. Sarah Matthews is here. And Sarah, obviously, you were the deputy press secretary in the Trump administration when I was covering it. You have endorsed Liz Cheney. You're voting for, for Kamala Harris. You're voting for her. You're going to be with Liz Cheney on the campaign trail next week. Are you someone who ever thought that you'd find yourself voting for a Democrat?
I think if you would have told me 4 years ago that I'd be excited to cast my ballot for Kamala Harris for president in 2024, my head would have exploded. So no, I did not envision myself being in this position, but I also didn't think that an insurrection at our nation's capital was possible. I also didn't think that we would ever have a president who would disrupt the peaceful transfer of power for the first time in our nation's history. So it made the decision easy because I believe that Donald Trump has shown us that he is wholly unfit to ever serve as president again. And so, yeah, I'm going to vote for the person who I think can beat him and will keep him out of office and away from the Oval Office.
What do you plan to say next week when you do appear alongside not just Liz Cheney, I should note, but also Alyssa Farah Griffin, who our viewers will know well, Cassidy Hutchinson, two other former prominent Trump supporters and Trump staffers?
Look, I think that all of us identify as lifelong conservatives. I can say that I've never voted for a Democrat in my life, and I believe that the other three have never as well. But we know that the stakes are too high in this election, and we've seen up close and personal, at least Cassidy, Alyssa, and myself, what kind of leader Donald Trump is, and we know him to be unfit. And so we don't want to sit on the sidelines in this election, and we want to make our voices heard in somewhere like Pennsylvania, where I believe that this message could break through. Obviously, we know that Pennsylvania is going to be critical and that the margins are going to be tight. And I want to say that in Pennsylvania, during the primary process, there were 158,000 Republicans who turned out to cast a vote for Nikki Haley in that primary. That is a closed primary, so that means that no Democrats or independents can vote in it. And these people knew that their vote wouldn't matter in the sense that Donald Trump was still going to be the nominee and he would win the primary, but they did it in protest. And so even if just a fraction of those people we can convince to write in Kamala Harris instead of sitting this election out or voting for Donald Trump or leaving the top of their ballot blank, then that could be something that pushes Kamala Harris over the edge and gives her a win in that critical key battleground state.
Yeah, that's a great point about those Nikki Haley voters. I want everyone to listen. Trump responded to Cheney endorsing Harris in the very public way she did today. This is what Trump had to say about it.
Well, Liz Cheney lost for Congress. She was terrible. Liz Cheney is a stupid war hawk. All she wants to do is shoot missiles at people. I really think it hurts. I think, frankly, if Kamala, I think they hurt each other. I think they're so bad, both of them.
I mean,
Anyone?
This doesn't help with women. How many times do we have to say this? He's calling her stupid. It just makes me cringe. It doesn't even matter who I'm going to vote for or what I think. It's just, why would he keep doing that? I guess I'll ask Scott that. Why would he keep doing that and think that he might have a chance at getting some of those independent women and suburban moms? I just don't understand it.
I mean, look, you're welcome to your opinions. I mean, my view is he debates his political opponents with great vigor, and the independent and suburban women of this country may or may not have already formed opinions about him, but I doubt they're going to cast their ballot based on what his views of Liz Cheney are. I hope they cast their ballot based on the inflation under which they've been crushed for the last 3.5 years, for instance. But to me, you know, this idea that he's not allowed to fire back at his critics when they call him everything but a good milk cow, I just think is ludicrous. It's a political campaign and it's October. Buckle up, everybody.
Well, let's also pay attention to what's really happening. He's not going after suburban women, right? He's not going after
His
moderate
wife did
Republican
today.
women. Yeah, maybe she is, but he's not. He's going after those disaffected guys who are playing video games, watching WWE, not paying attention to politics, and they are trying to get every single one of them they can to show up in this election and vote for him. I got to tell you, it is so bracing, and I imagine, I don't know if it's bracing for you or not, Scott, but it would be bracing for me that so many people who have worked intimately with Donald Trump, who know him so well, from cabinet officials to military officials to staffers, have all come out and said this man should not be trusted with the White House again.
Well, and the economy is the #1 issue for voters, but in polls we've seen democracy is really high up. The other underneath it aren't even close. We had the Republican House Whip, Tom Emmer, on last night from Minnesota. We were talking to him about this and talking about what came out in that filing last night about the efforts to overturn the election, which is why Liz Cheney was up there today. And listen to what Tom Emmer had to say.
This is something that you folks in the media want to focus on a regular basis. The American people, and thank goodness J.D. Vance and Donald Trump, are focused on the election and how to fix this country.
Trump went on at length today about the 2020 election, as we just heard, saying that he won it. This isn't something that the media is just concocting. Trump himself is still talking about 2020.
Well, and J.D. Vance on Tuesday night also wouldn't give a straight answer on this. So, look, it's an inconvenient truth that this is something that we're still talking about. But I think this whole thing could have stopped when Mitch McConnell had the opportunity to stop it on that day, on January 6th. We would not be looking at the same Republican Party today.
Wait, how?
We would not. Because he could have coalesced the members of Congress right then and there to not allow Donald Trump, to make them push back what they thought about it, and they could have impeached him, and it would have, yes.
They could have impeached him, and he wouldn't be able to run again, and we wouldn't be there
I
today.
hate to give everybody a rudimentary civics lesson. The House impeaches, and it took them a long time to get to it. And yes,
He was
and
the
yes,
leader.
and-
I'm just
okay.
talking about being a leader of the Republican Party.
And then the Senate, but it took a long time to get there. I don't disagree with you. Had they convened and done it that night, maybe they would have.
not
But
a
it took
civics lesson.
But it took a
We
long.
all know that.
But it took a long time for Pelosi to get around to it. It took too much time passed. So don't blame it on Mitch McConnell. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying the leader of the Republican Party at the time, and I think that that will go down in history as the gravest error of the Republican Party.
Scott,
Yeah.
you don't care about the Liz Cheney endorsement. You're a Republican. What about this endorsement that we also heard from today?
With full knowledge that my opinions no more or less important than those of any of my fellow citizens, here's my answer. I'm supporting Kamala Harris for president and Tim Walz for vice president, and opposing Donald Trump and J.D. Vance.
I don't know. Bruce Springsteen's pretty convincing to some people.
Couple things. A, I can't think of anything I care about less than some moron celebrity. B, we got Hulk Hogan, and that's all I need. It's fine.
Okay, you call him moron celebrity. He's performed
Kid Rock would be offended.
80 concerts in Pennsylvania. He's not like some out-of-touch LA celebrity.
I don't
right?
care.
Fair?
I legitimately don't care because Joe Biden and Kamala Harris ran the country into the ground. I want directionally a center-right government, and I don't give a crap what some celebrity thinks about it who's got hundreds of millions of dollars. He's not affected by their
you care
policies.
what Hulk
But
Hogan
working
thinks.
people in Kentucky do care about it, and that's where I live, and that's who I
I
represent.
agree with you,
Yeah.
Scott, on that. I don't think these celebrity endorsements, I mean, maybe Taylor Swift moves it for people to register to vote.
Yeah,
but I'm
no,
not
no.
sure that that has much to do with who they want to
No.
vote for in the end. It's their pocketbook, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Jamal,
look,
final thought?
God bless Bruce Springsteen.
All right, well, no one here besides maybe me is getting backstage passes to Bruce Springsteen. Thank you all so much for being here.